With Survivor Series War Games taking place this weekend, we're going to go ahead and track down each matchup and predict the outcome of each contest. Of course, we're going to take into account the build-up, those who are participating, and further storylines following the event itself. And of course, my name is Ramos Jr. Thank you for joining me in today's predictions video, and let's go ahead and let's just jump right into it, beginning with the Women's War Games matchup. 5 versus 5, you already know the deal. We have the babyface team of Rhea Ripley, Bianca Belair, Bayley, Naomi, as well as Io Sky will be taking on the heel team of Nia Jax, Tiffany Stratton, Candice LeRae, Liv Morgan, and Raquel Rodriguez. This is a matchup that had been really thrown together within the last couple of months. We saw heading into the Crown Jewel event a lot of participation from both brands, Raw and SmackDown, that would blend into a common enemy, that being, of course, Bianca Belair and her group of baby faces up against the heel team of Nia Jax's group. Now, in recent weeks, we've seen a little bit of dissension on both sides. Tiffany Stratton and Candice LeRae have had their differences leading up to their allegiance to Nia Jax. And on the babyface team, we've seen how Bayley and Bianca never really seem to be on the same page. And because of the injury to Jade Cargill, that opened up an opportunity for Bayley to slide in and take her spot. Now the question really is, who attacked Jade Cargill? There have been names being thrown out there. Of course, I think the two obvious choices would be Naomi and Bayley, but I also think that perhaps Bianca Belair could be considered a suspect. But that's for a storyline for later down the line. I do think in this sense of the matchup, I think the baby faces go over. I think Team Rhea Ripley and company go over. They defeat the heel team of Nia Jax and Liv Morgan's group because of the main storyline here. I think because of this loss, we're going to see more tension between Tiffany and Nia Jax. I think it's clear and evident that that's where WWE is going to go in terms of the Money in the Bank contract. I don't see Tiffany cashing in on Liv Morgan or whoever the world champion is at that point in time. We've placed a lot of equity, we've placed a lot of time in this partnership between Nia Jax and Tiffany Stratton. We've also seen Candice LeRae being integrated into that little partnership, which is why I'm thinking that they're going to take this loss. Now, whether it's Candice LeRae or Tiffany Stratton taking the pinfall, I do think that something's going to go down in the matchup where Nia Jax is going to be able to point fingers at Tiffany Stratton as being the reason why they lost the matchup. I also think it's going to be big for Io Sky. Io Sky has a championship opportunity against Liv Morgan right around the corner, being named the #1 contender, Bianca Belair, and as one half of the tag team champion. What are we going to do with the titles there? Bayley and Bianca's story, I feel like, is just going to get resumed here. So there's a lot of moving parts when it comes to this matchup, but I'm going to side with the babyface team here. And we're moving into the second matchup here, the championships. There's 3 championships that will be defended at the Survivor Series. Let's start with our first one here, the Intercontinental Championship in a triple threat match. It's going to be contested between Braun Breaker, the champion, who's defending his title against Kaiser, and of course the Celtic Warrior, Sheamus. This matchup should be a banger. We've seen all 3 individuals intervene on behalf of the other members in the matchup here. We've seen a lot of brawls on Monday Night Raw. We saw this huge fight break out between the 3, and that's when Adam Pearce made the decision to create a triple threat match intended for this event. Now, when it comes to triple threat matches, it's very difficult to screw this up, right? Triple threat matches are very entertaining, high offense, a lot of moving action here, but it also opens up the door for protecting certain individuals involved in the matchup. And I think that's what we're going to get here. Very much so, I would love to see Sheamus win the Intercontinental Championship. I think he's well due for that title. It would be a great story to see him complete the Grand Slam Championship by winning the IC Championship here, but I don't see it happening. I don't see it happening. I think it'll happen in a one-on-one contest. So, being that it's a triple threat match, I could very much see Braun Breaker, and that's my prediction, Braun Breaker to win the triple threat by getting a pinfall victory over Kaiser. Not defeating Sheamus, otherwise that story would be ending right then and there. He pins Kaiser, retains the title, and Sheamus comes around saying, "You never pinned me." and will lead to that next matchup whenever that may take place. But I'm going to go with Braun Breaker to successfully defend his Intercontinental Championship. And since we're on the topic of the mid-card, let's jump over to the blue brand, SmackDown, as the United States Champion LA Knight will be defending his title against the recently returning Shinsuke Nakamura. This is now a very interesting matchup here to take into consideration because it's just been announced within the last couple of days. On Monday Night Raw, it was announced that we were going to have this matchup at the Survivor Series when we've only had 2 interactions between Shinsuke and LA Knight. Now it's very early into the feud, so part of me thinks Shinsuke could win this matchup. A surprise victory, ending the title reign of LA Knight to continue moving forward with this feud, but I just find it very hard to believe that LA Knight loses the title already. I can't see it happening. I think perhaps he beats Shinsuke Nakamura. That's my prediction. He beats Shinsuke Nakamura, and we have some kind of post-match beatdown or some sort of nonsense that would lead Shinsuke to attack LA Knight, whether it's at Survivor Series or perhaps on the following SmackDown, to entice LA Knight to have another crack at Shinsuke Nakamura. But I don't see him losing the title here, but at the same time, the storyline is just starting, so I feel like we're going to have a victory here for LA Knight and another rematch certainly down the line. But we're talking about World Championships now. The World Heavyweight Champion, Gunther, versus Damian Priest, a rematch from this past SummerSlam event, and you gotta say, Damian Priest certainly has had the number of Gunther. Multiple weeks in a row, he has gotten the better of Gunther. He's proven to be a credible threat to the World Championship reign that is the Ring General. Now, whenever this happens in pro wrestling, and obviously if you're following me here on the YouTube channel and listening to the prediction video, then you're as much of a fan as I am. So whenever it's very one-sided, and we see the heel getting bested by the babyface time and time again, it's reverse psychology. Gunther is going to defeat Damian Priest. I feel like he's going to defeat him soundly. He's going to defeat him clean in the middle of the ring, because we've seen Damian get the best of Gunther so much. I'm hoping this unlocks that aggressive streak from Gunther that we saw in NXT and in NXT UK and as a champion for the Intercontinental title. I'm hoping that we now get to go into another gear with Gunther, because I think the main complaint here, whether it's on or off screen, is that Gunther has kind of lacked a little bit of momentum since winning the world title. He's not the same Gunther who was the IC champion for 666 days. So I'm hoping that whatever happens on Saturday, Gunther brings out his A game and he defeats Damian Priest, continuing his title reign as the world champion. And another thing too, they've had so much time developed into the Gunther character by having him be a champion for a majority of his time in the WWE, whether it was the UK champion, the IC champion, or now the world champion. I don't see them dropping this belt just yet. I will remain to my prediction. I think WrestleMania 41 will be where Gunther drops that title. But now we're into the main event, the main Bloodline versus Bloodline War Games matchup. We're talking about the evil Bloodline, Solo Sikoa, Jacob Fatu, Tama Tonga, Tonga Loa, and now Bronson Reed, who will be taking on the OG Bloodline, Roman Reigns, the Usos, Sami Zayn, and CM Punk. What a team on both ends. This is surely going to be probably the longest match on the card, not only due to entrances, but also because of the participants involved and the storyline that has evolved from our very eyes here. CM Punk and Roman Reigns, their history well documented. And because of the inclusion of the wise man, Paul Heyman, that is the interesting piece of the puzzle here. Paul Heyman, he brings it all together. Can CM Punk and Roman Reigns, can they coexist? Is Roman Reigns going to allow himself the opportunity to get on the same page with guys like Jimmy and Jay, who are now seen as equals from everyone in the audience? But the one person that it means the most to is Roman Reigns. If he can accept the role as a team player rather than the tribal chief, that right there is what could determine the outcome of the matchup. I look at a team that is built. Roman Reigns, Sami Zayn, Jimmy, and Jay, they were barely getting on the same page just a couple of weeks ago. If you go back a month ago, they were struggling to be on the same page. Now they had CM Punk with that unknown factor of why is he here? Why did Paul Heyman not return his phone call? That being Roman Reigns, of course. And then you look on the other end, Solo Sikoa, the Tongans, Jacob and Bronson Reed, all on the same page. These guys all loathe and detest the OG bloodline, a unified front with a specific role and task for each individual involved. And of course, with that being said, the babyface team of Roman Reigns and the OG bloodline, they have gotten the best of them at Bad Blood. Now granted, at Crown Jewel, they did drop that matchup. But I think if the babyfaces go over here, it's very difficult for me to believe that the story's over. The story's only beginning. We still have The Rock waiting in the wings. We still have WrestleMania around the corner. We saw last year the babyface team win. That, of course, being Cody, Randy Orton, and company. I don't think it's going to end the same way. I'm going to go out here on a limb, and I'm going to actually pick Solo Sikoa and his bloodline to get the upset victory over Roman Reigns and his bloodline. Just because I don't think the ego of Roman Reigns is ready to accept his position on that team. He's not the leader. He may be, a big star, but I don't think his ego will allow him to win this matchup. I think they're going to get the better of them. I'm thinking someone like Jimmy Uso or perhaps Sami Zayn, they're probably going to take the fall here, allowing Solo Sikoa and his bloodline to emerge victorious. But hey, I would love to hear from you guys in the comments down below. What are your thoughts on my predictions? Which ones do you disagree with or agree with? And if not, hey, go ahead and sound up in the comments with your own predictions and what you're looking forward to the most at the Survivor Series. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up, comment down below like I said, and also make sure to super kick that subscribe button to keep up to date with all the pro wrestling content here in the J area. Of course, my name is Ramos Jr. Thank you for joining me in today's video again, and I'll see you all next time.